We have time for one more question before we... John Purray.
Very interesting. All of the discussion this afternoon, particularly the second half of this afternoon, has been focused on the use of surveillance to catch out wickedness, sin and depravity. Many years ago, a very wise gentleman, Sir Kenneth Beryl, the first chairman of the Security and Computers Authority, which was then, said that more money was lost through incompetence than through fraud. How much of your efforts, sorry, big subject, how much of your efforts are focused on fraud and how much on incompetence?
Very, very good question once again. And when I was very new in this business, we sold one of our systems to one of the really large players in the world. And we were negotiating on the price for a long time. And so after we installed it, I got good friend with the surveillance officer. And one day after the 5th or 10th beer, he started talking and telling me, Guy, we are earning the money we spend for your license every 2 weeks because we find a lot of wrong inputs, fat fingers, and all this stuff. So we are looking at all our business. We are earning about 50 euro cent. It was at that time 1 D-mark. We are earning about 50 euro cent for every transaction if we look at it at all. And therefore, we earned the money we spent for you within the first 2 weeks. So that's the answer. I think we have to much more to look when using these surveillance systems. Of course, we have to look for the bad guys. But once again, we have to look for the processes. Where is the money lost in the processes? And maybe there are stupid people, but I don't believe, not too many. No, the process is designed in the wrong way. And if we are looking at the quality of the processes by using surveillance systems, everybody in the market, I'm quite sure, can earn the money for the licenses very, very easy.
Ahmed.
An example, I mean, 2008, the crisis of the United States having to bail out, a few organizations at the cost of $700 billion or more. I don't know exactly what the number is. Is that related to stupidity, or is that incompetence, or is that real market manipulation of sorts? So I think there is a level of incompetence, and of course it is in the hands of the surveillance users to identify whether this is a one-off occurrence or is it a repeated act. If it is a repeated act, of course it is known, and then you give them warnings of sorts, and then so the tools are or whatever tool that may be will try and highlight differences or abnormal behavior. And then if a specific pattern is recognizing, a same function is being carried out over and over again, then I think there is reason to believe that this is intended and not unintentional.
If there was one thing that could be implemented or changed to make a big difference to surveillance regulation, what would it be? John?
Well, I'll say what I was going to say anyway, which is not really an answer to the question. I think that the people in the tents in Finsbury Square and St Paul's would be absolutely amazed if they had any idea of the degree of surveillance of their personal lives which employees in the banking industry and in securities in particular undergo by contract. And I think that if I was going to change one thing about it, I would actually turn the lights on the extent to which people are willingly signing away their human right to a private and family life in pursuit of money. And I would turn the light on that and have a debate about that. But this is not the time or the place to do that.
Ahmed?
I agree. I think the fact that there are firms of sorts are too big to fail, and I think you need to turn the light on them, bring them to the spotlight in terms of ensuring that a failure of them doesn't really cause a failure in an economy or a recession of sorts. So having a good focus on the firms that are too big to fail is key, and I think that's where the focus should be.
JP.
For Christmas, I would like. No, I think that the key thing is to bring back the discussion about market abuse, like many other issues that are being discussed in policymaking circles, from the political to the technical, and discuss at the technical level the resources that regulators could potentially have and harness. And I think that goes back to John's point of having regulators connect the dots. They're really in a much better position. Currently, the regulation that's coming out of Brussels and the ideas that are coming out of IOSCO, although, as I said before, IOSCO does seem to recognize more the role of regulators, is mainly focused on investment firms and trade venues, when I think that the power of connecting those dots are really in the regulator, not in the regulated markets, MTFs or OTFs, investment firms.
Andy, apart from a bigger budget, what else?
Well, always nice to get a bigger budget. I think I'd actually take Juan Pablo's point on. For me, I think it very definitely, as we've said before, it is a community that's out there, and there are a lot of links that have to be joined together, and we all need to work together as a sort of a big virtual team, if you like. And I think for me, the big thing would actually be more of a breaking down of the barrier between the firms and the regulators in this space, so that in some way there was a sort of a freer flow of information. Very difficult because, of course, we've got client confidentiality, we want to protect our own commercial interests, but at the same time, the process will only really be effective if we can all see what each other are doing, and we've all got a little bit more information and just a little bit more trust, I think, between the various aspects in the same fight.
And Wolfgang.
Yes, I'm very confident within just breaking down the walls between the industry and the regulators, but also to the society, because I think there's a very, very wrong picture of the financial industry in society at the moment. I understand all these young people going out to the street, but they do not understand the financial industry. And I think we have to do some correction on that picture as well, and I think we will work on that.